Well, happy apocalypse, chat. I couldn't, I couldn't tell. It's weird to me because it feels like God. Is it been a couple of weeks for a nothing burger? It's been a little while. I kept expecting this to end. I've been told that it was going to end, and yet here we are. You may hear a little bit of a difference in audio quality, a little reverberation. That's because I'm in my bunker, my happening bunker, in the middle of the woods, where nobody can get me. Safe and sound and ensconced behind big, thick walls. I've already got my turrets set up. I'm going to treat this shit like the green flu from Left 4 Dead. Nothing's getting near me. Not a goddamn thing. The first stream I did on this was back in, oh shit, I'm going to say middle of January, right when it was starting to kick off. Now we're headed towards the middle of February, so it's been a wild month. And I've dealt with a lot of Chi-Com shills, a lot of concern trolls, a lot of ass blasted idiots saying, "Oh, it's a nothing burger. It's just a flu. It's just a lot of Eugenes out there. Just a flu, bro. Okay, it's just a flu." Let's go over just some minor facts as we kind of celebrate. We are celebrating today, by the way. Today officially marks over 70,000 infected. Oh boy! On our way to 2,000 kills and in 26 countries. Boy, our little flu is getting around, isn't it? But it's weird when I think about just a flu. When I'm thinking about that common illness that's floating around there, because it's just a case of the sniffles. I don't seem to remember last year 1/10 of the human population being locked down. Do you, chat? Anybody in chat remember that? The flu last year, how it was so bad that 750 million people were locked down in quarantine. A tenth of the world's population. One half of the population of China. Shit. It's slipping my mind for some reason. But it's a nothing burger. It's an empty bun. There's nothing to look at here. Listen. You just need to get on your fucking knees and say, "Thank you, Nurgle. Thank you for this beautiful new world you've created. I'm so happy. I'm enjoying this new scenery, the sights and sounds and the smells. Oh, the smells. I'm loving it. I love watching people vomit blood and have coronary attacks right next to me. I love watching verbal seizures. I love getting welded into my house. I like it when the government stops by and makes sure that I can't drive my fucking car. I love it when all the factories shut down and multiple business close. I love it when the financial forecast for the quarter of a country is just wiped away in an instant. Oh, it's gone. 0% growth. I love hearing that Germany is about to get fist fucked by that big economic punch coming straight from China. Oh, Euros, it's not looking good for you. I know Germany had a real bad time the last quarter of last year, and it's looking even worse now. You can thank the Chinese. They're happy to oblige. Are we still going with the bat soup thing? Is that the angle we've decided on for this ridiculous bullshit? Or have we all started to kind of clue into maybe it's not bat soup? Maybe it's a little more. I know they tried to blame it on a pangolian. I don't even. How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce that? I don't know. A bat was flying overhead, and the pangolian, the armadillo, leaped 400 feet in the air and took a bite out of it. And then immediately, somebody from China threw a spear at it and decided to eat it raw. And that's how this WuFlu has spread out all over. I know I shouldn't call it the WuFlu. That's racist. I've been taught that the Canadians are really adamant about this. You can't call it the WuFlu. The World Health Organization is pretty adamant about it too. Don't refer to it by anything that might identify where it comes from. What are you, a racist? You can't refer to the country. You can't refer to the people. You can't refer to any of that. We need a name that refers to none of this. So let's call it COVID-19. Okay. No, how about we call it the WuFlu? Go fuck yourself. COVID-19. Come on. The coronavirus virus disease sounds a little fucking redundant. Could have dropped one of those. How are you enjoying it, chat? Have you been paying attention? Have you been keeping up with all the happenings Oh, so many happenings. We're going to be going over that as we celebrate this monumentous occasion of fictitious numbers that China has put out, because they are fictitious. If you believe the numbers that China's giving you, then you're probably handicapped. So if we're getting 70,000 infected and about 1,700 dead, I don't know what the real numbers are, but I guarantee you they're much higher than that. But we'll take a look. But I thought we could start off with some good old-fashioned journalism. Don't you love journalists? Going out there, getting the real scoop for the people. You know, writing the important stories that put the public in danger because they're fucking retards. Like this Vox article. Let's look what happens in the span of 1 week. The first article, at the very top there, the coronavirus exposes the history of racism and cleanliness. If you wipe your ass, you're a fucking bigot. Let that Chinaman spit in your mouth. Little Chinese children need to cough on you. Otherwise, you're xenophobic. And yet, 1 week later, why the coronavirus outbreak might be much bigger than we know. Oh shit, I wonder why the coronavirus outbreak might be bigger than we know. Maybe it has to do with the fact that you wrote a fucking article basically inviting people to get spit on. Don't wash your hands. I want you to lick those doorknobs. I'm a Vox journalist. The only way to fight racism is to find a Chinese person's home and lick every fucking doorknob in sight. You need to get down there and just lick it. It's the only way we can combat xenophobia in the modern age. I don't know what it is with the mainstream press and Canada and the World Health Organization, but I think they're drinking turpentine or something. I don't know what's going on with them. But there's some crazy shit happening. Because the advice and the shit they're saying doesn't really gel with the reality that we seem to be watching take place every day. Now I know. A little bit of meme magic. Oh boy, oh you Pakistanis out there. That meme magic really works wonders, doesn't it? Got Sargon elected prime minister, huh? And we've got the Corona cult out there, worshiping our girl, and she flies around the world, infecting people with her love. But it goes deeper. I'd like you to introduce you to Mr. Dean Koontz. Kuntz? How do you pronounce his name? Is it Kunt? Am I saying that right, Dean? Is it Dean Kuntz? Now, Dean Kuntz wrote a book in 1981 called The Eyes of Darkness. Literally about what's happening now. It's remarkable, almost. It's fucking bizarre. It's about a Chinese bioweapon located in the laboratory outside of Wuhan called Wuhan 400. Getting a little cyberpunk with that name, but Wuhan 400 gets out there and does some nasty shit. Some weird happenstances involved with Mr. Kunt's book. The first of which being the Chinese scientist that alerts the world about its name Li, and in our reality, the Chinese scientist the doctor who alerted the world about it was named Li as well. But that's not a big deal. I understand. So what? He named the virus Wuhan. He said it came from China, and he said Li exposed it. But it goes deeper. You see, the first person infected in this book is a Boy Scout. And do you know who the first identified Western super spreader is? A Scout leader. That's fucking weird. It's a British guy that went to a conference. I believe it was in Singapore. Was it Singapore? It was somewhere in Southeast Asia. A Scout leader in Southeast Asia. Wonder what he was doing, huh? Wink, wink. But apparently he spread it. He gave the gift to many people in multiple countries. That is some spooky shit. I don't know what Dean knows. I don't know how many time machines this man owns. Maybe him and Barron Trump go on time traveling adventures together and we're just fucking unaware of it. They sat down and collaborated on this fictional adventure that became a reality for us all. Spooky. Need to go deeper, Chad. I hear you. You do need to go deeper. I mean, what are the odds? I bet you if you read more of this fucking book, which I'm not going to do, but I bet if you read more of it, there is a preview available on like Google Books or Amazon. You can read like 20 pages. There's probably some other freaky shit that coincides with what's going on right now. But I wanted you to know there's a little mimetic energy behind the happening that's currently taking place. A little bit of juju juice backing up the crazy shit going on out there. Now I know all the shills will tell you It's a nothing burger. You need to listen to Winnie, okay? Nothing, everything's fine. Just fucking relax. You people are overreacting. You're going all Alex Jones on this shit. Sure, it's lasted a month, infected 26 fucking countries, created plague ships that look like they're taken from the set of a video game like Resident fucking Evil. Sure, sure, all that shit's happening. Sure, there are videos of people being stabbed to death for disinfectants. Yeah, that's happening. And jumping out of their buildings to their death because they can't handle quarantine anymore. Just terrible shit. That's all happening, but it's a nothing burger. And if you don't believe that, you need to listen to my friends at the World Health Organization. Oh, what a fabulous organization that is. Remember the World Health Organization, the people that told you, don't worry about it, not a big deal. It's going to just peter out and disappear. They actually said, the World Health Organization has repeatedly praised China. Nothing to do with that 30% budget coming from them, by the way. Has repeatedly praised China and said that they are transparent and they're leading the world and showing them how it should be done when it comes to disease. It's insanity. Is it any wonder then that with the World Health Organization sucking dick to this degree, well, really, they should become a porn star with that ability. The deep throating is phenomenal. But is it any wonder people have started petitions to get the Director General, the head of WHO, Tedros Adhanom, or however you pronounce it, I'm just going to call him Teddy, to get old Teddy fired. They want him kicked out. Now, you can only suck Chinese dick so much before the world starts to take notice. Even journalists at some point, even fucking journalists are going to say, wait a minute, this seems a little weird to me, Teddy. All you do is give a reach around to China. Every time we ask you a question about what the fuck is going on with this disease, you're too infatuated with Chinese dick to ever answer a real question. And that happened at a press conference. Take a look at Teddy's reaction. It's a little bit telling. He looked a little confused that a journalist would ask him a real question. It's a little bizarre, I admit.
Looking back at the effusive praise that's been given for China, has the Chinese government approached the WHO to ask it to stand up and say that China is doing a good job here? Was there pressure put on this organization to say those sorts of things? Did the Chinese government say to the WHO that it should give it praise? Because I've noticed a few organizations have done that, and I know how important it is saving face in China.
So the first question was, I think, on a case definition, so maybe...
The second one, while I think...
Well, you see, it's he rips his earpiece off. First, that's a two-part question. The first had to do with the counting of cases and the criteria of them. He ignored that, never even answered it. But holy shit, did he leap at part number two? Our glorious Chinese overlords. Oh, he was foaming at them. It reminds me a lot of a certain other person. See if you can notice the similarities.
So basically, first of all, basically, first of all, basically, I have to say is that, I don't know. First of all, how come, like, yeah, sorry, I'm with autism. I don't know how to use words that well, so,
Just a tad. Just a little telling that you were so eager to jump over there and start kissing ass, and it hasn't stopped. At every single press opportunity, the World Health Organization will literally drop to its knees and fillet China at any opportunity they're given. Even more recently, it's gotten to the point where journalists are just getting outright disgusted by it, which is amazing. Coronavirus panel at MSC 2020, WHO rep absolutely gushes over China. This is a direct quote. The people of China feel protected. The ultimate social contract. The government of China is honoring that contract with its people. We all need to take a step back and admire what's happened. Yeah, everybody, let's take a step back and just admire the transparency that's happening with China. Maybe you remember the blogger Chen, who got basically black-bagged. He was somebody that was reporting inside of Wuhan, showing people what was really happening. Government showed up, tracked his family down, tried to use his family to find him, and he disappeared. Nobody's heard from him for a week. Is he at a COOF camp? We don't know. He's just ultimately disappeared. Somebody recently wrote an article, somebody in China, that was critical of Winnie the Pooh. They've disappeared now too. And there was a third guy who just decided to go full tilt. He's like, fuck it, YOLO. You can't stop me. I'll show you what his last video was. If you remember Chen, when he did his video, basically said, fuck communism. I'm not scared of you. Which, maybe that pushed them a little too far. This particular gentleman, he went a little further than that. Started talking about revolution and shit. So I don't know what COOF camp he got sent to, but we're never going to see him again. I almost guarantee you that. But here's a clip of it. Let's give it a listen. It's subtitled.
前天大前天，他们这个派出所的那个所长来到这里，我看他交差不了，走不了，我就说你上去汇报，去反映。全世界都认为方斌是对的，方斌的行为是英雄的行为，你为什么中国政府就不能承认方斌是对的呢？你在承认方斌的行为是对的前提下，我们公开的和平的谈判。可是昨天下午约定的昨天下午3点，他没来，他不敢来，因为他们心虚，他们胆怯，他们不知道什么叫和平，他们只知道暴力，他们就必然受到恶果，他们一切的恶果必须由他们尝。中国人民一定要清算他们，罪恶绝对不能延续。从今天起，今天2月7日，我发起的全民自救互助运动升级为全民大反抗运动。我们从今天开始掀起全民大反抗，全民反抗暴政，全民反抗中共暴政。从今天开始，无论海内还是海外，地不分东西，人不分南北，不分阶层，不分行业，都要团结在全民反暴反抗的道路上，都要高举全民反抗的大旗，全部的所有的一切的反共的力量团结起来，团结在全民。
As you can imagine, I don't think it ended well for our boy here. I'm gonna guess declaring a national resistance movement, calling the government evil, probably didn't end well for him. Yes, press F, chat. Press F for all of them because they're all fucked. That's an F for fucked because that's what they are right now. Black bagged and taken away, never to be seen again. There are multiple videos, too. It's not just a couple of bloggers or a journalist here or there, or somebody writing an opinion piece or an op-ed in a Western media outlet. Many people are putting up videos on Chinese social media, and they're getting taught a lesson for talking out. So it's bizarre to me to see WHO, the World Health Organization, get on their knees and suck Chinese dick when there are numerous cases of people that have been reporting things that are just disappearing. Or even better yet, that the fact that the original person that reported all of this shit was a doctor who got taken in by the police and threatened because he wanted to warn his fellow countrymen that there was a bad disease over the horizon. But of course the government had to step in and shut him up. And now he's dead. Died from the disease he tried warning people about. Is that the transparency? Is that the thing we need to take a step back and look at? Teddy? Is that what you're telling us to really admire and see the principled position of? What the fuck is the matter with the World Health Organization? They're ridiculous. Can we talk about China's track record with telling the truth on fucking anything? I mean, you can look at their economy and see that the numbers are all over the place. It's bullshit. from province to province when they're reporting productivity and earnings and everything else. I mean, just there's a whole I can't remember the name of the guy who got he got in trouble because the conversation got leaked. Somebody recorded it where he admitted China's numbers are all bullshit, and they named an index after him to track what they think the economy is really like. But just take a look at SARS. This is a headline from the fucking Economist back in 2003, and it's simply titled, "China, Please Lie Less." China's response to the SARS epidemic is being hobbled by a culture of secrecy. Well, surely they've learned their lesson by now. I mean, they couldn't be keeping those secrets up. Oh, wait. According to leaked documents that are out there now, this is really a bombshell. Naval University of Engineering in Wuhan, one of the 5 comprehensive military universities of PLA, and there's a link to it, issued a lockdown notice on January 2nd, 18 days before the government admitted there was an epidemic. 21 days before that epidemic, I'm going to guess, started to take off. So the Chinese government has a doctor come forward and warn everybody. They send the police to arrest him and shut him up for spreading rumors. And then, secretly, before informing the public that there's a disease out there, they lock down their military assets. Because that's what's important. They don't give a fuck about the civilians. They just want to make sure they've got soldiers on the ground to, squash the peasants if they get uppity when they start getting sick and dying, as they're welded into their fucking houses. Oh, the Chinese knew. Oh, they knew. China lied. People died. You remember this bullshit? Where WHO was trying to figure out how are they defining their cases. This happened on the 10th. I want you to take a look at these dates. I think you'll find this surprising. There was a back and forth for about 2 or 3 days where China was not going to list people that tested positive but were asymptomatic. And WHO, the World Health Organization, said, no, that's untrue. China never told us they were going to do that. China is love. China is life. China wouldn't lie to us. China's our bestest friend ever. So they have a back and forth, and this is what WHO said on the matter. We're not aware of that change. We'll check it, obviously. But we're not aware of any significant change to the case definition. Certainly not one that discounts lab-confirmed cases. It sounds strange. That was on the 10th. Then a tweet went on the 11th. This one went a little under the radar, but I think you're going to find it interesting for the number that it accounts for. Hiding in plain sight, authorities in the second largest COVID epicenter, Honggang, just announced discovery of 13,000 fever patients. Comprehensive investigation of Honggang in Hubei found 13,000 fever patients. 13,000 cases just mysteriously are found of unidentified fever patients. So on the 10th, you have China and WHO bickering over the definition of what is sick. On the 11th, somebody says, hey, I'm sorry, on the 11th, somebody says, hey, wait a second. We've got all these fever cases that just suddenly appeared. And then what do you know? A few days later, oh, hey, guys, here's our new numbers. Oh, shit, 14,000 new cases. I wonder where 13,000 of them fucking came from. Oh, maybe those came from the fever cases that they were not counting? Huh, that's fucking weird timing, isn't it? Hey, look, everybody, accidentally found all these fucking sick people. Oh, what do you know? Here's China now saying we got a bunch of sick people. Gotta love that fucking honesty. Way to go, guys. Way to knock it out of the park. Fucking China, man. You gotta be kidding me. Just a little oopsie, little clerical error. Hope nobody noticed that. Hope nobody noticed our clerical error. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a mistake. A little bit of a whoops happening there. Yeah, if I've been banned in China, is that what's happened to me? You've been officially banned in China, Jim. There's no coming back for you. It's just a coof, relax. Oh, speaking of coofs, chat. I mean, of course, we all know about the roundup of infected people going to the coof camps. Going to get quarantined. Nothing better, by the way, than taking people with, unidentified or suspected symptoms and putting them with people that you're almost sure have the disease. A great way to really stop the epidemic. Just herd them all together and let them get sick. About as good as welding them into their fucking apartment buildings. Really smart thinking. And now we sit here with a New York Times report from a reporter saying that their estimation, given the number of cities that have been declared locked down, that 760 million people are living under some kind of residential lockdown. 760 million fucking people. Half the country. That's America 2 times over. A tenth of the human population is under wartime controls, which is their cute way of saying martial fucking law. Where you need a permission slip to leave your house every other day to go grocery shopping, and only one person from your family can leave to do it. Where they can prevent you from using your private vehicle, they can prevent you from going to certain places. There are no public gatherings. And if you do use transportation, and this is the most insane part of this, you need to use public transportation. What? So for just a coof, it's a little bit of a coof. For a little bit of a cough, it's kind of fucking weird that you'd lock down a tenth of the human population. Maybe they're scared. Maybe the numbers they've been reporting aren't the real fucking numbers. Why would you lock down 760 million people because 70,000 people are sick? Just what's the percentage on that? You know, we've got all these math whizzes out there, all these Eugenes that like to talk about how the flu and lightning strikes are so much more dangerous. Could you explain this to me? Because I'm fucking confused. Why would you lock down 760 million people for just the sniffles? Remember, it's just the sniffles. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Besides, China's so great they built hospitals in 10 days. You need to relax. We're going to send you to a coof camp. You know, you've seen those glorious propaganda videos talking about how wonderful China's coof camps are. Maybe you've seen this particular hospital. Well, probably not in this condition. Let's take a look at one of those 10-day built hospitals a few days after it's been built. That's how I like my hospital. When I'm suffering from fucking pneumonia, I like to be under a dripping ceiling. Nothing speeds up your recovery from pneumonia than having cold water and sewage leak onto your fucking head. Chinese quality, all right. Hey, let's build a hospital in 10 days and then flood it. Maybe that's their plan on taking care of the coof victims. Just flood the thing. Lock them in because all the fucking windows have bars on them. And then flood it with water. And drown them at once. Maybe that's how they're getting rid of those suspected cases. I mean, surely it would have nothing to do with videos like this that are showing nothing but fucking crows and ravens and shit. Just fucking thousands of them gathering all around the place. That's beautiful. It's like fucking Resident Evil in China right now. Coming to eat the fucking corpses of the coof camp victims in the leaky fucking hospitals that China's built. But surely nothing is wrong over there. Everything's going smashingly. It's just going smashingly. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this pop up too in recent days. People using data from windy.com shows a massive release of sulfur dioxide gas from the outskirts of Wuhan, commonly associated with the burning of organic matter. Levels are elevated, even compared with the rest of China. I've seen some people still look at that and they say, well, wait a minute, it's probably a coal plant. Well, you should swing on by CNBC or somebody else doing financial forecasts and find out that their coal consumption for the last 2 weeks is half of what it was last year. They're burning less coal because nobody's in any fucking factory to need the energy. So I don't know what this is from. But why do I get the feeling we're going to get like a Lifetime TV movie 10 years from now? Where they're going to talk about the coof camps and the burning pits of all the dead coof victims that we're led to believe aren't happening. I think we need to take a minute to really appreciate this amazing and totally naturally developed, or naturally occurring, I should say, virus. You know, the one that experts are saying at least in the Wall Street Journal, when they're talking to people about what they would forecast the spread of something like this would be. How many people might one person infect? What's the outlook for the world? And their guesstimate, 40 to 70% infection rate. I've seen R naught values for this fucking disease all over the place. The funniest one to me is 6, because you've got WHO representatives saying that it's not just aerosolized, it's airborne, and it's got an R naught of 6. It's fucking smallpox. Anybody remember how fun smallpox was? 40 to 70% infected. That fucker's out there doing some shit. Oh, and don't forget the 24-day incubation period. Chinese expert Zhong Nan Shan led research on the clinical traits of the coronavirus and concluded that the incubation period of the virus can go from 3 days to as long as 24 days. Previously, the longest incubation period was believed to be 14 days. Now ask yourself, how many times have you heard a story over the last 2 to 3 weeks about a country quarantining people? And how long did they quarantine them for? Oh, 14 days. And yet this little bastard, this totally natural disease, incubates for up to 24 days. So even 10 days past the quarantine, when they're back in their community, it's out there. It's also a disease that, for whatever reason, tests negative 30 to 50% of the time. So you get it, you're asymptomatic and show no symptoms. You test negative for it because the test turns up 30 to 50% negative, and it's incubating for 24 days. Well, that's just great. That's fucking... I love being sick for a month without knowing it and getting everybody around me sick to the point that they're gurgling in lung juice. And can we talk about that glorious reinfection rate? Chinese doctors say Wuhan coronavirus reinfection even deadlier. Instead of creating immunity, the virus can reportedly reinfect an individual and hasten a fatal fucking heart attack. Oh, God, are you kidding me? So it's a speculated infective rate. Its R value is 6. It's fucking airborne. It's aerosolized. It incubates for 24 goddamn days. It can trick tests into showing that it doesn't exist. And then, after you arduously battle this in the goddamn hospital, once you've been intubated with your horrific pneumonia that, by the way, can give permanent lung damage, and you survive it, you get reinfected, and instead of having pneumonia, you have a fucking heart attack. That sounds just like the sniffles to me. That sounds like the flu that I remember. Really makes you fucking think, doesn't it? Oh, but let's not stop there with this fucking horror show of a disease. Please, can we make it worse? Oh, I think we can. Coronavirus seems like the perfect storm. Reports that it can affect fertility and cause men not to be able to reproduce with their sperm. So it can trick tests. It incubates for a month. You can be asymptomatic and infect people. It'll destroy your lungs. And if you survive it, it will give you a heart attack. And if you survive that, it's going to fucking go after your nuts. It's going to render you infertile. That doesn't sound like the fucking cold to me. That doesn't sound like any disease I've ever heard of. What island of Dr. Moreau shit were the Chinese up to exactly that they came up with this abomination of a fucking disease? Oh my God, Chad, I think we got a fucking problem here. Maybe after hearing some of these input on what this fucking thing does, maybe that's why they locked down half their country. Maybe that's why 1/10 of humanity is in lockdown right now, because of the lung-destroying, heart attack-giving, nut-crushing super disease that can hide amongst them for 24 fucking days. Oh, and speaking of amazing naturally occurring viruses, multiple reports coming from different journalists, from CNN and fucking The Mirror, all over the goddamn place. South China University of Technology biologist exposed the coronavirus might have originated from an animal research lab 280 meters away from the epicenter of the outbreak. The scientists were reportedly bitten by bats used to test on a louse. Oh, are we starting to get China to maybe sort of come forward with the fact that this might not be naturally occurring? That it wasn't some random happenstance of a bat butt fucking a pangolin and then getting eaten for dinner? That maybe the Institute of Virology, which is 20 miles away, and the University of Technology and the university where those samples that were stolen from Canada were getting sent, which were 8 miles away, that maybe one of those two locations might have had some fucking idiots working at them that mishandled shit? I don't know. We live in clown world. This is a Dean Koontz novel. This is a Dean Koontz novel. It's the only explanation for this, how fucking stupid this is. If you read, by the way, I wish they'd included this. They didn't. If you read up on this, it's not just that they got bit by bats. One dude reported that a bat pissed on him. I like to think that the reason this super disease is spreading around the world is because some stupid fucking scientist in China was unlucky enough to have a bat piss in his mouth. That's what I'm going with now. Escaped bioweapon or a bat pissed in his mouth. One of those two things happened. I don't know which one it is, but it's certainly one of them. Oh, glorious communism. Oh, round of applause. So smart. You're so smart. Such big boy brains over there. End of the world because some dude got pissed on by a bat. Amazing. I think we should listen to Teddy some more. What does he have to say about this disease? Remember, it's just the sniffles. Eugene told us it's nothing to worry about.
Ebola and this are not the same. Ebola is lousy. This is airborne. Corona is airborne. It's more contagious. And you have seen it how it went into 24 countries, although it's small number of cases. In terms of potential to wreak havoc, the corona is very different from Ebola. Corona has more potency, virulence. We take it more seriously.
So they take it more seriously than they do Ebola. More virulent, more dangerous, more potential to wreak havoc on the globe. He even shit talks Ebola Chan, not smart by the way, and calls her lousy, but much more dangerous. It's weird. I feel like I get mixed signals from the World Health Organization where they discuss how severe the situation is, but yet bend over to let China fuck them in the ass and do it publicly for people to watch. But describing these symptoms and how this affects people, I don't think really imparts to you what it's like. So I'm gonna relate two experiences to you. One is an older gentleman, and one is a younger gentleman. I know we've heard a lot of reports that it's a boomer disease, the boomer plague, coming to save the world, so only Zoomers will inherit it. So we'll take a look at an older gentleman first who was a doctor in China who ended up getting infected. And this is how he describes what it's like, the timetable, the sequence of events, the symptoms, all of that shit.
我是1月14号病的，当时发烧38度多，别的一切正常，不流鼻涕不咳嗽，吃东西呢就打嗝、打屁。我为什么去查呢？17号星期五的我们科室要7点半，当时我就意识到会不会是这个问题，当时我就给我们同事打电话，马上给我做个 CT， 做一做了，一出来看我双肺有问题，肺炎这个病，这样就住进来了。当时不重啊，当时也不喘气，不胸闷，就是烧。第二天还好，第3天也还好，我还自己能够走下去做 CT 复查，复查 CT 一看，双肺的病变在增加，增加是我预料之中的。自从 CT 复查之后，病情急速恶化，就没有起过床了，胸闷、憋气、喘气，呼吸困难，要吸氧，一天比一天重。我有5天没有起床。第4天、第5天很重的时候，我就想到了，我会不会死掉？我有30%死掉的可能性。如果4天、5天没好转，我可能就活不过来了。5天过后稳住了，那就有希望了，甚至会好转。所以说，我还总是有70%以上的期望我活得过来。我有希望活过来的一个信念是么子的？一个我身体比较好，抵抗能力强，还有一个信念，我能骑的，我睡得好。所以说，活过来希望很大。
So that's a doctor estimating he's happy because his prognosis is he has a 60% chance of living after going in to ICU and getting oxygen treatment. Did you notice the time scale on that? How many days were involved? The whistleblower doctor initially, I believe, started having symptoms on the 12th of January, and then on the 18th and the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, the 20th, he went upwards of, I think, 15, 16, 17 days before he started actually getting a positive result on the test for the disease. So he gets sick, gets a cough, feels mildly ill, and then 17 days later finally tests positive. And then a week after that, he's dead. But again, that goes back to that 24, 25-day period. Here's another doctor who had a bit of a long, drawn-out thing. 4 or 5 days in the hospital. It's awful. Now, that's an older guy. Now, for the tale of a younger guy who went through basically the same thing, talked about how fucking awful it was, there's a Bloomberg article, and it's interesting what medications they used to try to treat this shit. Let's pull this up. This is what it feels like to catch the coronavirus. I like the subtitle. I knocked on hell's door, says patient who's now recovered. For one coronavirus patient at ground zero of the outbreak, the journey from infection to recovery was a nightmare scenario that entailed multiple hospital visits, symptoms so severe he thought he would die, and a quarantine under police watch. Tiger Yi, not his real name, 21-year-old student from Wuhan, the central Chinese city where the new, still little understood virus first emerged. Yi doesn't want to be identified for fear of being ostracized. First suspected he'd caught the illness that spread around the world on January 21st when he felt too weak to finish dinner. He checked his temperature and it was up. At the time, little was known about the virus, now known as 2019 nCoV, but paranoia was rapidly building after the authorities confirmed the of 11 million. It was midnight when Yi arrived at Wuhan's top-tier Tongji Hospital to see a waiting room filled with people like him. Feverish. You remember the article earlier that I showed you where it said they had 13,000 fever patients? Feverish. He knew he would have to wait for hours to be tested. I was scared, he said. Countless cases were piling up on the desk, and every single doctor was wearing protective clothing, something I've never seen before. What followed was more than 2 weeks of anxiety and depression as he tried to confirm if he had pneumonia-causing virus and get treatment for his increasingly severe symptoms. He was one of the lucky ones beating the illness in part because his father is a healthcare worker. That's how he survived it. His dad had an in. If his dad wasn't a healthcare worker, this guy would probably be dead. Let's see. The night Yi first sought treatment, he was able to procure medicine from a smaller hospital nearby after abandoning his wait at Tongji. Because his symptoms weren't classified as very severe, doctors told him to just go home and quarantine himself. The first 4 days of the illness were brutal. I suffered from a high fever and pains that tortured every part of my body, said Yi. He was a big fan of Japanese culture and has ambitions of becoming a voice actor. I love this part. He spent his days watching Japanese cartoons to distract from the discomfort. So I guess the only treatment we have so far we know about is watching anime. Coughing like I was going to die by the time his follow-up appointment at the hospital arrived. 4 days later, the Wuhan government had locked down the city, barring anyone from leaving to stop the virus spread. Everything changed in an instant. Roads were empty, prices of fresh fruit and vegetables surged, and residents were unsure if they were even allowed to leave their apartments. Yi's condition also deteriorated. I was coughing like I was going to die. At the hospital, multiple CT scans showed it was highly likely Yi had contracted the coronavirus and that it had spread to his lungs. Doctors deliberated if he qualified for a nucleic acid test, which would use the virus's genetic sequence to confirm if he had it or not. But it was decided the case wasn't severe enough. So this is a 21-year-old who got so sick he couldn't finish eating, had a fever that ran for 5 days, had pneumonia show up in his lungs, was coughing his ass off, thought he was going to die, and they thought that wasn't severe enough to test. This should give you an idea of when China, how they're hiding their patients, how they're shuffling that around. Hell's door diagnosis had emerged as one of the major stumbling blocks in getting the virus under control in Hubei, where the number of those who fear they were infected far outweighs the capacity of hospitals to confirm if they are or not. On Thursday, Hubei began counting patients who were diagnosed via CT imaging alongside those who tested positive with the acid kits, resulting in more than a 45% surge in the number of cases to nearly 50,000 people, as he convalesced at home after his second hospital visit, not knowing if he had the virus or not. His brother and grandmother also began to show signs of the infection. Overnight, Yi's condition worsened to the point he thought he might die. I thought I was knocking on hell's door, Yi said. He went back to the hospital with a temperature of 102 degrees. And this is where it gets interesting. Doctors put him on an IV and administered Kaletra, a combination drug used to treat HIV that has shown some success in combating the virus, bringing his temperature down to 37. So it brought it back down to normal. And within one day, the AIDS medicine took his temperature back down to normal. A week after his symptoms first began, Yi appeared to be reaching a turning point. The young student's condition was steadily improving when he finally secured one of the coveted tests. It confirmed he had the virus that triggered travel bans around the world. His doctor gave him a 5-day course of an antiviral drug, Alluvia, which, by the way, is the same as Kaletra. It's the same shit. It's AIDS medicine. And sent him back home to his 3-bedroom apartment for quarantine, in part because the hospital did not have enough beds to accommodate him. Chat, can we just discuss this? Can we just discuss the fact that people are getting AIDS medicine to treat their colds? Do you remember that last year? You know, when they locked down a tenth of humanity and gave them all HIV medicine because they had the sniffles? Do you remember last year when 750 million people risked having their testicles not work anymore? Severe, sudden heart attacks, having their lungs permanently ruined, getting hooked up to... I like how he has a 102-degree temperature, coughing his ass off, sick as shit, and they still won't test him or count him among the sick. It took like 2 weeks of him being like that, and he was 21. The only reason he's alive is he was 21. If that had been a 40 or 50-year-old man, he'd probably be dead. He'd be like that doctor who was gasping for air even after he recovered, saying, oh, my prognosis is good. I've got a 60% chance of making it. You know, it's weird how many different countries are reportedly using HIV medication. China's using it. Thailand has used it. And a few others. And it seems to work. These AIDS medications seem to work. The only other one that seems to have any success is remdesivir. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a test drug, an antiviral made by Gilead Sciences Incorporated. And that's not even on the market yet. They gave a trial run to a patient in Washington State. He recovered, and they sent a batch of 500 over to China to see if it would help. It must have, because the Chinese are now trying to steal it and make their own version. They're trying to patent it. They're trying to steal it from Gilead. So, I don't know. Maybe those are names to remember if you find yourself huffing and puffing in the hospital with this horrible shit if it hits your country. Ask them for the AIDS medicine, because apparently that's the only thing that's going to save you. Or put in a phone call to Gilead and beg them to make you a human guinea pig. What in the fuck is going on? How is this? This is the most insane shit. One of the signs that this, even setting aside the lockdown and the economic damage that this is doing, not just to China but worldwide, look at the amount of events that are being canceled because they're paranoid. And these events aren't just in February or even just in March. They're canceling shit all the way into April now. F1 Chinese Grand Prix canceled. The Go Mobile World Summit, which is a fucking huge event, outright canceled. There are other sporting events, fighting events, conferences, business events, just all over the world from major corporations that draw in a lot of bucks or big for publicity or for, hawking your products. Fucking canceled. Schools over in Southeast Asia are shutting down at least until middle of March. So even with the draconian measures they've taken to lock down that many people under wartime controls, as they say, they still are expecting shit not to be better very soon. They're trying to get people to come back to the factories and work. You got to make those iPhones. All right, we don't want the ghost of Steve Jobs to come back from the dead and beat us. Got to get those products shipped out there. But apparently that's not enough motivation. It's not working well enough because people just don't want to do it. They're fucking scared shitless. And why wouldn't they be? Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and the president came on television and said, I'm locking the whole country down. You can't leave your house for 2.5 weeks. You can't use your car for 2.5 weeks. And if you get sick, we're putting you into a camp. And then imagine other people saying, it's not a big deal. It's just the flu, bro. It's just the flu. Relax. Not a big deal. So how is the world reacting to it? What's happening out there in the ether? Well, in India, an Andhar man wrongly thinks he had the coronavirus and killed himself to protect his village. He was advised to wear a mask due to some infections so that he did not contract other infections. This made him behave strangely, and on Monday, wrongly believing he had the coronavirus, he killed himself. That's pretty badass, man. So this dude thought he was a carrier. He thought he was one of those fucking typhoid Marys, and he offed himself. He didn't have it, by the way, but he thought he did. So to protect his village, he killed himself. Man, India, doing a lot of stuff lately. Offered to bring people out. You took people from 2 different countries out of China to be broached here. And now you got one of your citizens thought he had it, and he did what he thought he needed to do to protect his family and his friends and his loved ones. Wow, what a fucking story. Now, the opposite of that would be North Korea. North Korea executes coronavirus patient after he's seen at a public bath. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un quickly placed those returning from China in quarantine, but according to reports, an official was spotted breaching the order and was summarily executed. That's right. That's a based poo, chat. They're still talking about the Indian dude. Yes. He chose how he was going to go out. That's the way he was going to do it. He made his decision to protect his people. It's a based poo. On the other hand, we've got lockdowns at airports. I believe it was one person from San Francisco they thought had the disease, so they locked down 8 flights and made them sit on the tarmac for hours and fucking hours and fucking hours. Of course, Brits are going to have to get used to sitting in tight places for a long time because now you've got corona pods, the coronavirus isolation pod in Britain's hospitals. NHS sets up windowless shipping containers and rusty cabins. The government's brilliant solution to this problem is to put you in shipping containers. Hey, Britain, what do you think they're going to do with you once you're in the shipping containers? Once they herd you into those shipping containers, Brits, where do you think you're going to go? It's going to be a jolly old ride right to the bottom of the ocean. That's where it's going to go. Oh, Bongland. Now, I can't necessarily blame them for this approach. After all, this is like some kind of a skit off of fucking Absolutely Fabulous. Aero Park quarantine guard claims patients are holding staff ransom by demanding private chefs and free alcohol or they'll leave, and says police stop drunk detainee from fleeing. I'm not sure exactly why it is everybody's running away from quarantine, but that seems to be the popular thing to do at the moment. 2 Russian women quarantine over coronavirus escape hospital. This bitch literally jumped out a window to get out of quarantine and tried making a run for it. Of course, she was eventually caught and arrested. Now, Americans, don't think this isn't coming to a city near you soon. U.S. military preparing for potential coronavirus pandemic. It's a report from the Military Times, and it goes over the fact that NORTHCOM is basically getting shit ready. Now, we already have our own COOF camps, 11 of them set up near airports for people returning from overseas to be quarantined to make sure that they don't have the disease. But I think this might potentially be a little bit different. I think this might be them getting ready just on the off chance shit hits the fan. The world's going insane. And let's not forget, I swear to God, you can't make this up. This is probably my favorite of them all. This is from Cambodia. Just pure brilliance from Cambodia.
Oh, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
So they decided to take in one of the plague ships, one of the multiple plague ships that's floating out there on the Death Ocean, And the Prime Minister, in all his infinite wisdom, decides to greet the passengers. And he shakes hands with them all and gets really close to them all. Oh, hey, welcome, welcome. Yeah, oh, we're happy to accommodate. We'll get you to Malaysia. And then immediately after doing that, the passengers test positive. So expect a fantastic story about the Prime Minister of Cambodia soon. In fact, let's play that one more time because that's real life comedy you don't really see very much.
Oh, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Oh, rip and pepperoni. Rip and pepperoni, my friend. I don't think it's going to work out well for him. Of course, we can't forget the other plague ships that are out there, like the Diamond Princess off the coast of Japan. You've seen multiple pictures, I'm sure, of ambulances being set up outside. They've set up different tented pathways to keep the sick from getting in there. But even with all these precautions, what happens? Their quarantine officer gets sick. Their fucking quarantine officer catches the disease. In fact, let me go check. I want to double check to make sure. But I believe right now, what is the percentage on this? Let me go take a look here. Let's see how many people exactly on the Love Boat are not doing so well. Okay. So right now on the boat with 3,700 people, this is the Diamond Princess off the coast of Japan, 355 confirmed cases. So 10% of the passengers and crew on the fucking boat have the goddamn disease. And then you've got people like the Japanese quarantine officer. Guess which one in this picture is probably him? Ended up getting the goddamn disease himself. In fact, there's a story out of Japan of a surgeon that gave it to his patient. I don't know how that's even possible. An operating theater should be probably the cleanest place on earth. He should be completely geared up. I don't know how you give your patient fucking Corona-chan in a surgery, but it happens somehow. What the fuck, chat? This shit it keeps going. And even with China releasing their bullshit numbers, and I guarantee you they're bullshit numbers, it's still bad. We're still going to get to watch as this goes on. I mean, currently the tally sits at 71,223 cases worldwide, 8,200 suspected cases, nearly 1,800 deaths, and over 10,000 people in critical or serious condition, and 10,000 recovered. I think it was Pat Condell. I think that's who, if I'm thinking of the right guy here. Somebody had released a video talking about the coronavirus, and they brought up an interesting point, one I hadn't thought of. If this disease is really as infectious as people believe it is, and if it does spread out there more amongst the people, and you look at the amount of confirmed cases and how many of those are serious, meaning they need to go to the hospital and either stay in the hospital in one of the beds or either go to the ICU and get real intensive care, if it's roughly 10%, if 10% of the cases that are being reported end up having to go in, what the fuck's going to happen if this spreads everywhere? I mean, think of the city or town you live in. Now, look at the population of that town and the surrounding towns. Now, how many hospitals are located near you? If you lived in a city of 30,000 people and you had one hospital nearby, that hospital is going to have maybe 300 or 400 beds, maybe. Now, if 10% of you, of the 30,000, if they all get infected, let's say only 20, let's say 2/3 of the town get infected, 20,000 of you get infected. That's 2,000 people that are going to need to go to the hospital. But it's only got 300, 400, 500 beds. So what happens? Now multiply that out amongst many communities. And you can start to see why it is China was rushing ass to make just 10-day built hospitals, converting stadiums into hospitals, trying to get beds and units everywhere. That's why there were videos leaked earlier of just fucking oxygen tanks lined up and down the hallways. Oh, if it hits America, I mean, the land of burgers, all right, nobody's really in good shape over here. They're all fat to begin with. So what do you think happens to fat people when they can't breathe? Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. How are you going to get an 800-pound person on oxygen support in the ICU when you can't touch them because they'll infect you? Dark days ahead, chat. Yes, chat. Boogie down. Boogie. Oh my God, Rip and Pepperoni Boogie will always remember you. We'll always remember your stunning smile. What the hell? So what are we? We're 30 days into this. 30 days into it was 71,000 infected, 26 countries, 1,800 deaths, nearly 1,800 deaths. And what should we be looking for, I guess, going forward? Now, I've heard multiple people talk about this, of where should we pay attention? And the two places most seem to be agreeing on, as far as how is this going to go, are Singapore and Japan. Japan, because it got fucked in the sense that it had so many patients offloaded onto it from the cruise ship. I mean, I think on its own it would have 50 or 60 cases, but now it's got 414. And Singapore, which has 75 cases. So that's, we're roughly at the start. When people started paying attention to what was going on in China, it was roughly around the number of like 40 or 50 cases. And it took like a week and a half to really start to take off. So I think watching Singapore and Japan for the next week and a half is going to give everybody a really good idea of how infectious it actually is and how quickly it can spread. I mean, 2 of the cases that were confirmed in Japan were a husband and wife that returned from Hawaii, and they were showing symptoms while in Hawaii. So I can almost guarantee you we're going to start to hear about somebody is infected in Hawaii. I mean, it's in Washington, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, California, Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawaii is next, because we know that 2 people that were sick were there. We know this thing has a 24-hour incubation period. We know this thing allows you to spread symptoms when you're asymptomatic, spread illness when you're asymptomatic. And they were diagnosed when they got back to Japan. So Hawaii, enjoy that. Welcome to the club. I hope you enjoy your time with everybody, because you are probably fucked going forward. What is it? In Japan, there's 9 serious cases, 17 recovered. In Singapore, 5 critical, 19 recovered. So they're starting to get some of their serious cases. I suppose we should mention the fact that we had a little bit of a, let me change that background image. Let me set the mood a little bit more. With a little bit there we go. That's more fitting, I think, for what we're talking about. He's just, taking his time, taking in the sights, really. It's beautiful out here. All these fucking countries getting these cases. All he needs one super spreader, and they fucking bring it everywhere. And you've got multiple groups of people that are sick. They travel other places, and everybody's getting sick. It's fucking insane. We've been doing this for 30 days now. It's funny that I noticed a lot of like I said earlier in the stream, a lot of the shills, a lot of the nothing burger fanatics. Sure, shut the fuck up now that we're 30 days into it. It's still going. Or I'm sorry. Not nothing burger, empty bun. I don't want to make Winnie the Pooh angry. But it's one of those seasonal things. That's what John Hopkins doctors are saying. Expect it to be seasonal. CDC is going out and saying that they expect that it's going to survive past the next couple of months. It's going to probably be something being dealt with for the next year and a half. That's great. So let's say you get lucky and you survive that first course of it. Now you got to worry about a fucking heart attack or your balls shriveling up. What a lovely fucking disease. Holy fuck. I think I'm still sticking with the bioweapon thing. But again, it does amuse me to think that maybe somebody at a testing facility literally got a bat piss in his mouth and ended up infecting the world. How embarrassing would that be? Or that might explain why he didn't tell anybody. Who wants to admit that a bat pissed in your mouth? Or it was a sex thing and he's too embarrassed to really just come clean with it. Anybody telling you this is a nothing burger is a fucking retard. You don't lock down a tenth of humanity over a nothing burger. An empty bun doesn't end up shutting down half of China. So there's something there. And I get the feeling that the reaction we're seeing is because there's more to it. Either they know more about the origin of it or they know more about the function of it. So if it's a bioweapon, if it's something that got out of a lab, they know about it and they're embarrassed and they want to keep it a secret. Or this thing does something even more terrible nobody's noticed yet, and they don't want anybody to find out. But just genius. Really genius work. It'd be like, how do you do that? How do you fuck your whole country up from bat piss or a leaked bioweapon? Like, that's some gold star shit, really. That's round of applause stuff for China. I hope you all ran out and bought your masks so you've got them, because they're running in short supply. They seem to be being sold out pretty much everywhere. I'd recommend going into a hardware store and tell them, I don't know, tell them you're epoxying something or fucking you're sheetrocking something, and have them point you to those N95s or P100s if you want to go crazy about it. Maybe you'll still find some. I like how the CDC, I can't remember who it was at the organization, basically just outright said, yeah, we're trying to buy time. That doesn't leave me feeling the best, I'll be honest. And if you think you're safe, if you're in one of those states where those test results came back and they were negative and you breathed a little sigh of relief, remember, the testing kits the CDC sent out, the reagent in those, didn't work properly. So some of those test results are bullshit. They had to recall the test because it wasn't working properly. And on top of that, it already fucks with the test and only really appears 30 to 50% of the time, giving false negatives. So best of luck, New York. Best of luck, Florida, and every other state that's been affected by this nonsense bullshit. Canada, of course, will welcome it with open arms because that's a progressive way of dealing with it. Oh, we can't be racist. Let's let them spit in our mouth to show everybody just how smart we are. You know, I like to play this clip, but I didn't think I'd be living the reality of it.
This is Chris Redfield. I'm currently pinned down. I don't know how many of them there are. They just keep coming. My entire team's down. I'm doing all I can to survive. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So I need to make sure I leave this message. Please. Tell Leon Kennedy. I need him to fuck my sister. I won't be able to be there to make sure it happens, but damn it, you make sure that he does. Claire! Sorry, sis. This is all I can do now.
Our Resident Evil timeline. I really am looking forward to hearing that the zombies have come back. They've come back as a living dead. I mean, that's really the only place we have to go at this point. What else can Corona Chan do? She destroys your testicles, blows your heart up, and destroys your lungs. You're going to have to be resurrected from the dead. That's going to be the next thing. That we're living in 28 days later. She's really slow about it. She likes to slow burn that shit. Take her time. All right, you know, it's an important part of what's going on here. Gotta build up to the finale of ending the fucking world. Brilliant, just brilliant. Okay, let's see here. Oh, 1 second, chat. All right, I think I'm going to, let's do this. Let's take a small break. I'll come back. There's super chats. I'm going to collect all those super berries and build me an even thicker bunker wall so I can protect myself from the hordes of reanimated dead Chinese that are going to flood across the ocean and come and conquer America. I need to be ready for it. We all know a good, the best, well, not the best defense is a good offense. Fuck that. I'm reversing it. The best offense is a good defense. You got to turtle the fuck up. Prepare for what's coming. Let's put on some fitting break music. A little bit of K. I think, to calm us all down. K stands for calming us down during this. So I'll be back in 5. We'll go over the super chats. Everybody else, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope things go well for you. Hopefully you don't get infected with the WuFlu and end up a stumbling, shammering corpse that's been reanimated as part of the communist undead army. But I don't know. I'm just waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. What else can they hit us with? With all the crazy shit that they're talking about, it has to be reanimating the dead. There's no other fucking place for this to go. We're living in that scenario. All right, so I'll be back in a couple minutes, and we'll get to the super chats. All righty, Chad. I hope you're feeling it. Oh boy, getting pumped up for the apocalypse. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, Chad. All right, let's start in on these super chats. Let me back up here. We'll start from the earliest and work our way down. From Mario Kart 13, the Who Suck More Chinese than Mauschwitz vacuum? Very true, they do. From Errant Vice, are we all going to die, Uncle Jimbo? Probably. Will Gamergate and the 2016 election be the greatest thing humanity did? That is a fucking horrifying thought. Also, I know it's not. Got to get that message out, huh? The Vodka Haze, I heard Batman was going to help the Chinese, but stopped after they tried turning him into a bowl of soup. Maybe try Aquaman next time. From Caleb Shaw, yeah, it's Koofin time, baby. From Eric Falkenhayn, I met all the CDC Health and Human Services and U.S. Public Health Services heads of the quarantine on Miramar this past Friday, making me one contact removed from Wuhan. Oh, and I met Mark Wahlberg on last week. Can you tell us, is Mark Wahlberg, is he safe? I hope so. We should all pray for Mark. I hope he makes it out of this in one fucking piece. From the Torn Quads, SARS-2 Electric Boogaloo is what happens when you mix SARS and HIV and give it to a bat and let it bite your scientists repeatedly. From Chad Carmichael, any news on Ross? Been watching old videos of him. I think he's been arrested. I don't actually know what's happened to Ross. I think he's sitting in prison, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, well, we having some problems in chat there. They should F5 that if they're having issues. Oh, Mark Wahlberg. Maybe they're praying for Mark Wahlberg. Yes, okay. From Honky Kong, press S to have Corona Chan spit on Eugene. Frogstein Sheckletoad. Hey, Jim. I think Jade might be patient zero. You might be right. I'm actually sick, to be honest. Pray for me, Chad. From Chimera, coronavirus appears, Bitcoin goes up. Coincidence? All I know is Link is going to the fucking moon right now. Those dudes are going to be driving Lambos for life. Making some real fucking money. From VeggieBat, I think it's more frightening that humans can control viruses and can designate who can be infected by resequencing genes to affect more or one specific group of people. So far, most of the infections are of the Chinese race. From Become a Goat, I don't think this is really going to start hitting home with normies until they start getting shot in the street. How far from that point are we? Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw one person, I think it was somebody that was quoting the Lancet, had said that it's usually 10 weeks past the 40. So once you have 40 cases in a country, expect about 10 weeks of build-up before you start seeing numbers soar. So for Singapore and Japan, they've got 8 weeks to go, and the United States really isn't at 40 yet, or at least not reportedly at 40. From Matthew Harder, Jim, what if you bought a dozen Japanese lovemaking dolls a year ago for $6K each? How much would you have marked up the price to sell to preppers now? Doesn't eat or nag. Needs some bleach to clean. Guaranteed happy ending. I don't know. Is that how, are you gonna be like, you need to fuck your rage away? Are you angry at those Asians for spreading the WuFlu? Well, I got me an Asian love doll, and you can fuck the shit out of it right now. I'm not sure what you charge. How are you gonna lug that around in the apocalypse? You're gonna have a stalker just take you out as you're walking down the street. They're gonna take your sex dolls from you. What you should do is dress them in army fatigues and make people think they're guarding your camp. Use your Japanese lovemaking dolls as decoys. From KF, accept Christ into your heart or you're a gay Mohammedan. The Red Pill Nation infection rate is 6 to 8 people. Virus targets ACE2 and causes a cytokine storm. The immune system attacks itself If reinfection occurs, which leads to heart failure, that's why people are falling over dead. From Torpedo. Have some oil money from Norwegistan. Thanks for hours of fun. Or thanks for the hours of fun for a boomer. Well, I'll be dead next week, so I hope you enjoyed it. Victor Phantasm. Boss, here's a 10. Please put my name down on a slug shot for your 12 gauge. If my full fursuit doesn't save me, I want to go out like Old Yeller. Please don't miss. Hard to miss with a shotgun, let's be honest. If you're missing with a shotgun, I don't know what to tell you. Then you're probably talking to cartoon ghost girls and thinking you're going to reincarnate. World Health Organization. Oh wow, throwing a tenner in. What do you have to say to me, Teddy? Please tell your friend on Twitter that China repeatedly rejected help from the CDC because this is all under control. Refrain from spreading misinfo that China is using this as an alibi to blame the U.S. Well, let's not also forget the fact that when they had their reshuffle, they had a musical chairs game that happened where they replaced leadership in Hubei, but also over Hong Kong and Macau. And the person they sent in to manage Hong Kong is a longtime loyalist to Winnie the Pooh. He's also very anti-Christian, apparently. Likes to tear churches apart, likes to rip the crosses off churches. So best of luck in Hong Kong if you're a Christian, because they sent somebody there that dislikes you a lot. From the Red Pill Nation. For more info, look up YouTube, Peak Prosperity, Neurologist, MedCram, Pulmonologist, and Shrimp Zoo. Wife is a nurse that says gag issue has been ordered. From Victor Phantasm, 1-2 WuFlu's coming for you. 3-4 gotta tape the windows and doors. 5-6 better listen to Sticks. 7-8 if you're coof it's too late. 9-10 she'll be back again. From the Red Pill Nation. End stream with song Don't Fear the Reaper Please Thanks. From Terry Hasticles. Can you believe all these janky-eyed mongoloids think I'm being racist for blaming the outbreak on the Chinese government? I hate racism, bro. I think we all do. That's why we all read Vox religiously. I mean, I stopped bathing a month ago when they wrote this. Or how long ago should I have stopped? 10 days ago. Because cleanliness is racism. Remember that. Remember that. Don't wash your hands, according to Vox. That's racism. From Point Curation, I hope to see the conflation of ethnicity and nationality end. It's not racist to be worried about recent travelers or their origin in a pandemic. No shit, right? You'd think that would be a reasonable approach. Hey, let's not have tourists come from a particular region that's being hard hit with a fucking virus that might affect everyone. But apparently that's the wrong approach to take. We should just leave the borders open and let all the flights come in. I also like how China's trying to re-engage different countries and have the travel bans lifted. They got really pissy with Australia because they extended it by another 2 weeks. At the same time, they're telling people, open your borders and let the fucking planes come in. They're locking down half their country. What kind of mixed signal bullshit is that? Why would I open my airports to you if you're going to lock down 750 million fucking people? From James is Dead, pools closed due to Kung Flu. Nice to Lizards. Jim, if you're going to own a gun, please get self-defense insurance from a company like USCCA, so you don't become some fat aggrieved mother's pay pig. The fuck is self-defense insurance? You're unsure if you should self-defend yourself and you accidentally shoot the wrong person? Is that what that's for? Or do you accidentally shoot yourself? And it's how does that work? Is it like car insurance? I've never heard of self-defense insurance. From LR, did you see JF tweet where he brags that thanks to his campaign and Antifa volunteers, Nick Fuentes was banned from YouTube? Yeah, I saw this pop up, but I don't know is this JF's doing or not, because from what I understood, Fuentes had, what is that fucking, Gorka, and he had Shapiro, and he had the little beady-eyed fucker from Conservative Inc. had been hitting him repeatedly. So he got a warning like in December, then he got a strike, and he got another strike. So I don't know, is it JF and Antifa that did it? Or is it Conservative Inc. that finished him off? Because it seems like they've been gunning for his ass for a while. And I saw after Fuentes got banned on YouTube, some journalists started reporting and saying, oh geez, I reached out to Twitter for comment on why he's still on their platform. Like, they're so scummy with the shit that they do. Whoever did it, it's gay. Deplatforming people is gay. Should Roll the fuck up. What are you doing? From moderator Marcy. Jim, how's it going? Hope your Asian pet Jade hasn't gotten the sniffles. Remember the Lemon Party says the Lemon Emperor says it's just the flu, bro. From the Red Pill Nation. Leaked CDC. Nancy Mesimir text says there are over 1,000 cases in the USA. Gag orders are in place. A fire department reported a case, then redacted it. Well, if there are 1,000 cases under gag order in the U.S., then we've really got a shit show about to begin, don't we? From Padre Speaks, please say in your most Desu Desu voice. Okay, I'll try. Come on, Desu, Corona-chan number 1. From Nostalgatron, Jim, you hear about an AI cam girl making e-thoughts mad. Yes, I did hear about that. Somebody was using a program. Was it a dude doing it, or was it another thought? I don't know. But they used a like an anime cam girl thing and pissed them off. Is that what you're talking about? Or is it actually AI? I thought it was somebody in like a body rig doing it. Either way, funny. From Hawaiian Blot, Jim, if you don't have one, get a gun. Being a strong cowboy is good, but sometimes you have to settle things by being an alive cowboy. Not bad advice. From Padre Speaks, did Nick lose his channel because of Jilted Catboy? I don't think the Catboy came after him. Not 100% sure really what's going on with that. Listen, I've been all on this Corona-chan shit. If you look at my good friend's Twitter, you'll see that. This is the shit that I'm interested in. I know there's a lot of stuff going on out there. It's flying by me. I get bits and pieces. I'm focused on this. I just want to see this shit play out. Because I'm dying to know what happens. Where is this going to go? You can't keep 750 million people under quarantine for a month, and then 2 months, and then 3 months. They're going to go fucking crazy. How long are the Chinese people going to put up with it? That's really one of the things I'm curious about. And what happens when they start lifting these wartime controls? Are people going to get reinfected and they're going to go back into quarantine? There's so much shit to this. I can't stop watching it. It's like for me, this is like the internet version of the OJ trial. I just can't tune out, man. I'm fucking all in on this shit. From Spike Strath 13, Sniffle Squad assemble. From Pedigree Sigaji, Papa Jim, save us from the final happening and sell face masks to your child army. I'm not selling them. I'm keeping them. I want to live. From Mario Kart 13, Corona-chan uses the death note to finish them off. From Sus, earlier today, I went into a man's basement as he had a makeshift game store there. Also, call your mom. She's proud of you, even after everything. From Sean Turner, the Dems have no one that they can come close to, no one that can come close to Trump. Didn't Bernie just get cucked today? What the fuck happened with him? It was like the last time. Remember when those two black chicks came up on stage and stole the mic from him? Except this time he had a vegan girl screaming about cows or some shit. How does it keep happening to him? I don't know, but it does. It's entertaining. From Doom Guy, calling it now, Corona is population control. Yeah, a lot of people have been bringing up the Georgia Guidestones. From Access 1247, so we have an anime cam girl now, Jim. Just in time for the apocalypse, I guess. From Foregone, first for fuck Eugene and fuck Israel. I just like to say that I love Israel. Israel's my friend, isn't it? Somebody clip that. I love you, Israel. And my rabbi loves you too. From Stefan Remus, how can we get the gypsies infected? Please help. Are there any left? What, like the country of Romania, I guess? I don't know. It seems like a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries, or former Eastern Bloc, or whatever, they're fine right now. Africa's got one case in Egypt, and South America stands alone. Nobody's reported from South America. So maybe they've got superpowers we're unaware of. I don't know. From Elizabeth Bathory, can we get a P to pet the bat, please? From Iron Wolf Spear, welcome back, Big Boss. What should we do if we cut the lights? Oh, wait, what should we do if they cut the lights on you, like they did to Nick the Knife? Also, I finally got my hat. And you dislike Israel as well. Wow. If they cut the lights on me, I'm already going to be in my... They're going to cut the lights on everything. If that previous super chat was right and there are 1,000 infected already in the U.S., then it's spreading like wildfire. From Amor Fatty, don't ask questions, just coof viral strain and get excited for next pandemic. Legion, we are many. What did one tampon say to the other tampon? Nothing, they're both stuck up cunts. From the Red Pill Nation, press C to coof, press S to spit, and N to nuke China. From Edward Burns, why did China create fox dye? Also, why did the Chinese create even more pollution than they already do, directly blowing fart gas into the streets? Eat bats and blow fart gas. China number one. I'm not exactly sure why they love their fart gas so much. I'm not even entirely 100% sure what it is they're spraying in the streets. I've heard a lot of fucking different answers to that. Most seem to be some kind of a mixture of bleach, but there are a lot of videos out there of them just going into buildings and spraying people with that shit. So I don't know what the effect of having somebody directly blow in your face a giant fucking cloud of bleach is, but probably not good. From Oipot Stiven, just stop being racist, Jimmy, to eat the bat soup. From Invidious Ignoramus, been coofing pretty bad the last couple of days. Shame it's not Corona-chan coming to end my miserable existence. Stay safe out there, Jimbo. I can sympathize. I've been sick for the last 3 or so days. Casper the Ghoul. Kathy Zoo's trying to get someone fired because they laughed at her boyfriend for telling everyone she pegs him every night on Instagram. I'm unaware of this bit of lore, but I guess I'll have to go take a look. Shannon Onangens, I'm ready for death. Happy apocalypse, guys. From Kidnappa. Hey, Jimbo. I heard the coronavirus is less effective against whites. How much stake do you put in the claim? Don't die, big guy. I keep seeing people refer to the ACE2 receptors or whatever they are, or cells in the lungs, and saying that there's a 6-time, or it has something to do with Asians having some kind of a difference that makes them more susceptible. But then I've also heard people raise the point that, well, maybe it's not necessarily because they're Asian, but it's because they're around so much pollution and smokers. So the smoke and the pollution fucks with the lungs that make them more susceptible. I don't know. I know everybody keeps saying, where's the dead white guy? There are no dead white people yet. You got to give it time. We don't know how it's going to behave once it gets into a new population. It takes time to see how it reacts. I don't know how it's going to work or how it's going to function or how it's going to affect people until it really starts to spread in Europe and it really starts to spread in America and Canada, and you start to see what the full effect of the fucking thing is. I mean, is it a number game? Do you have to hit a certain number and you get enough cases that you start to see it? I don't know. From Lou Cypher, my in-laws live just outside Chengdu, China. Police posters all over threatening broken legs if out illegally and broken teeth if you protest. Yeah, I hear they're coming down hard on people. Seen a couple of videos of chicks in dog collars with signs around their necks for not wearing masks. Men made to kneel in the street. They're not fucking around. From Ninja Pen Gen Pirate, you went from streaming every day to being gone for a week. I thought you died. Glad you didn't get a WuFlu, Daddy Jim. No, I've just been legit sick for 3 or 4 days. So I just was like, fuck it, I'll stream on the weekend. From Wildburn. Hey, Jimbo, what is your favorite Doors song? None. I have none. Brandon, MAGA. From Hans Handsome. I remember when I was a racist and didn't have the WuFlu. Then Trudeau made me kiss Miss Fung Ping Shu. And now I just kung flu every day and every way. From Ethereal. Any space in your happening bunker? No, I'm sorry. Just room for me. From Non-Euclidean Llama. When are you going to review manga? Probably after the apocalypse. Give me something to do as they're cleaning up the bodies. From Isaiah. Hello, Jim. Can you tell my brother Logan that Israel is our greatest ally? Logan, you heard him. From Glow in the Dark. News article said smokers and vapors most likely to get severe cases. Destroys the protective membrane. There you go. So, I guess that's a counter to the ACE2 thing. So is it the air pollution in China that's fucking everybody up? Or is it being Asian? Is it some kind of genetic component? Or is it both? Are they getting hit twice? I don't know. This is all fancy talk that's just above my little brain. From Lulzer Spoon F, can't tell if we're in Outer Worlds or pre-war Fallout. Well, I haven't played Outer Worlds, so I wouldn't know. And we're definitely not in pre-war Fallout because we don't have cool robots yet. What would this be comparable to? It's kind of... Well, it's not really the green flu from Left 4 Dead because nobody's resurrecting yet as a zombie. I'm sure we can find some virus that it's similar to in some video game. From Dismal Moody, high school IT tech had to touch Chinese exchange student devices to get them on Wi-Fi. now homesick with flu-like symptoms from New Zealand. Help. Isn't oh fuck, what's his name? Elton John. Isn't he in New Zealand right now, and doesn't he have walking pneumonia? So maybe he got it over there too. I don't know. Glow in the dark, possible way to save you: smoke at least 10 times more to replace protective man. Oh, you need to 10 times more to replace that protective membrane with tar, or until you get lung cancer so you can get new lungs. That's the plan I'm going to stick with. I think we have a winning solution. Wildburn, how do I track one of your potato negresses, Jim? Obviously use potatoes. From Dio Brando. They also tried to blame WuFlu on snakes. Yeah, they tried every fucking thing under the sun. I remember for a day or two it was snakes. It went from bats to snakes to pangolins back to bats. And I don't know where we are now. From Orias Rafo Cali. Corona Chan is an overachiever. Next goal, please. Well, let's see. So far, Corona Chan has beaten SARS and MERS in both death and infection counts. She hasn't beaten... I don't think she's beaten Ebola in death counts, but she definitely hasn't in total infections. She's beaten Zika in total infections and deaths. I don't know what's the next disease you'd want to compare it to, but it'd have to be something around total worldwide historical infections of, let's say, 100,000, 90 to 100,000. Name me a disease that falls in somewhere there. It can be anything really, but it has to be 90 to 100. That's her next goal. From 9/11 was the coolest thing ever. Aside from YouTube, what's your real job? It's building a happening bunker. I've already told you that. I'm 20 feet deep right now. From Riri121, this is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a coof. From Violet R. Not seeing a message. Maybe that was a sticker. From Satan's Advocate. At work again. Probably will catch a re-upload. Can't wait for the WuFlu to wipe out California. Yeah, they're getting hit real fucking hard right now. From Scum Creep, Beans, Bullets, and Bullion for Boogaloo Flugaloo. The Red Pill Nation. Smokers have more ACE2 in the blood. Should shield you from the second infection if you survive the first, but data is inconclusive. Conflicting reports are out right now. From Salt Sudoku. Hey, Jim. Thank you for all of your content that keeps me from jumping out a window at work. What are your thoughts on Devil May Cry series? I really loved 1, 2... Well, no, wait a minute. I loved 1. I loved 3. 4 was good. 2 was shit. 5 was good. And I've not touched Dante of DMC yet. From Mad Ahuna. I'm butchering these names. How many more names will they give our girl? Well, that COVID, the COVID-19 thing, and then 2019 NCOV. I don't know. It doesn't have a ring to it. It needs a ring to it. I'm not saying it has to be WuFlu, but it has to be something that's memorable. From Joaquin Antista. Hey, Jim. I'm going to make a Doom 2 mod, and I'm going to make the Doom guy Mr. Metokur, and the health pickups will be cigarettes. Stay tuned. Son of Angron. China will fall to the Plague Father. Hail Nurgle. From Chad Sobadash. Come coof with me. Let's coof away. If you could use some exotic flu, there's bat soup and far hubei. Harry Henderson. Love you, Jim. From Jason J. China used all of their AG disinfectant on their cities. Supply of animal feed disrupted. Now we have animals with weakened immune systems, plus no disinfectant. Therefore, famine incoming. Your thoughts? Well, I know they just got over having a huge thing with swine flu that fucked up their pig population. I know they're dealing with bird flu as well that's fucking up their chickens. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I've watched videos of a bunch of farmers. They can't bring their produce to the cities because of the lockdowns that are in place. People are afraid to bring, to buy shit that's been shipped in because they're worried it's, contaminated. And now all your livestock are dying. And then you've got good old Africa dealing with a locust plague. And then, isn't that like a plague of frogs happening now too? I don't fucking know what's going on. But the longer this lockdown is in place, the bigger impact it's going to have on the economy, on manufacturing, on just tourism business, property business, food production, just fucking everything. The hole's going to get deeper and deeper that they're digging. I don't know how they're going to get out of it. From Mike is Contentious. Check out Saiyan Z Entertainment's channel for the first Cape Verdean victim of the flu. Leather collar. I got commissioned to crochet a plague doctor like the one I mentioned in Super Chat 2 streams ago. I wanted to share the profiles with you. I'm working on crocheting a little Metokur plague doctor. Well, fantastic. From Evan Schulz. Do you have a comment on Potato Dater and Flagger JF Gierpe? Or Gay Rapey, I'm sorry. No, if you're talking about the Nick thing, I know bits and pieces of it, but I haven't been able to sit down and watch the clips. Apparently there are clips where he says he's going to go flag Nick, and then Nick gets flagged. So it's a lot of shit to catch up on, but again, I'm all in on the Corona shit at the moment. From CC, is this CC or GG? The medicine I'm on is fucking me up a little, so bear with. Shout out to Half a Mil Phil from Not to Zeech. Got to make sure the names are race neutral and robotic like COVID-19. Really rolls off the tongue. Can't wait for COVID-20 viral boogaloo. From Epic Yoshi. Lick the doorknob bigot. From Bernard Bernard. A book prediction happened with the Titanic too. From Judas Rude. Dean Koof. Dean Koofs is an SCP whose books become real, but why contain it? Rusty Cheese Knife. Paramount Pictures came through and delivered a really good Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Jim Carrey as Robotnik was fantastic. Go see it, Jim. I'm not going to go to them. Do you think I want to go to a movie theater right now? No, I'm good, man. I know Hollywood's all fucked up at the moment because they can't get that sweet revenue from China because nobody's going to go to a fucking theater. What was it? What movie was it? Birds of Prey that did awful on its opening box office opening over here, and they were so pissed off because they blamed the coronavirus for fucking their take, rather than the fact that maybe the movie just wasn't something people were interested in. From Mr. Curie, a bioweapon, you say. Also, glad to be back and glad to hear from you again. What's the best romance manga you got? Oh, fuck, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. You'd have to go look at my anime list to see what it is. What was the one that I just read recently? It wasn't a romance one. Or no, it was. I watched it. Shit. Now it slipped. I'm sorry. Okay, once I get Sudafed in me, yeah, I get a little goofy. Sean PK 49. GT gets paused in a Cali bathroom every night. His hunger for the AIDS is only outdone by that of his crackhead ex. From Vokan Dodinko. Never trust someone that can be blindfolded by dental floss. I guess words to live by. Glow in the dark. China has accused every official with power around the world to see if they can manipulate them. Department of Defense spoke out about this to state officials. They said China checked all the way down to school boards. From Just Ash. We Canadians are about to launch Lick an Asian to prove you're not racist day. Very progressive. Oh, that's super progressive. I'm sure it's going to end well. And I can see Trudeau really going for it, too. From Permafrost. Me Chinese may play goof, may make everybody go coof. From QWERTY. Today's the first day of class at my university full of Chinamen. Pray for me, Jim. Go buy a mask, QWERTY. Dirt Mug, a pool, Perry, Boogie2988 got the flu from his waifu. Rip Boogie, I guess, dead once again from another terrible happening. From Ali Noel. There's a video of the Chinese stuffing 3 kids into one adult body bag and drapes an adult coat over the body bag. I saw that video when it first circulated. One of the reasons I didn't, I guess, jump on it right away is if you go into the person who initially posted it and you look in their responses, they say that those kids died from carbon monoxide because there was some kind of a house fire. And they went through this long fucking story about how this was a family that was it was smoke inhalation or carbon monoxide or some crazy shit. But she said that, oh, no, that's what happened. So I was never sure, were the kids getting stuffed in the body bag from the corona shit, or was it some unrelated thing that happened and then they died? But I know the video you're talking about. I have seen it. From Vox Atreus, Wuhan Center for Disease Control is only 200 some odd meters from the bat market. Yeah, there's a lot of shit near that wet market. AJ Snipe, this reminds me of the intro to Snatcher on the Sega CD, only in China, who accidentally releases a bioweapon that ends up killing half the world. Yeah, well fucking done, China. From Apache Chief, apparently it's in New York and the CDC is keeping it on the download to evade mass panic. From Vokan Dodinuk, USA number 1, China number Koof. You know, if it's really in New York, if there are 1,000 cases out there, I don't know what they're going to do. They'd have to set up quarantines. How do you quarantine? I don't even know how they do it, to be honest with you. But I would hate to have a job at the CDC right now because it's going to suck. From Scum Creep, don't forget your water filter to keep out the global homo Illuminati, gay frog, fluoride, slime, communist gangster, Frankenstein-controlled water gym. I'll make sure to stay on top of that. Glow in the dark. World Health Organization is newest breed of Chinese dog. From Spotter Fuchs 9, their face on your streams have had more info than MSM. From James, YouTube jellies marble runs for some Formula One with marbles. From Luke, Sunset the Dog Eaters, Honkamania 117. I masturbated in front of thousands of... Oh, I see what you're doing. No, I think you're quoting DSP. In fact, let him read that particular quote for you. Because I still have that clip unfairly ready to go, taken totally out of context.
I masturbated in front of thousands of children. Thousands of children.
There you go. There you go. You almost got me. Sneaky. Wait till Jim's a little sick and full of goof medicine. You get him to read some shit. And I lost my spot. Oh boy. Oh, there we are. From Glow in the Dark, can't wait till the Chinese learn about that doctor who said he believes it came from the Chinese government facility of virology. Oh yeah, we actually looked at that. I Hate Yankees play Rats by Ghost. Someone else suggested it a while ago. From Spike Strats 13, next press conference, Teddy in a gimp suit. I could actually picture that happening, to be honest with you. From Glow in the Dark, if people start to not fear China, Z is fucked. Well, he's got a crisis on his hands right now. I don't think anybody trusts him. Mario Kart 13, Kim glasses China when? From Odeker, these are the same people who thought a one-child policy was a good idea. Not really shocking that they're handling it this poorly. From Jason Thomas, I've had a fever and a dry cough for almost a week. Yeah, from what I understand, it's a dry cough is the one you've got to look out for, not the wet cough. Rippin' Pepperoni Jason. From Glow in the Dark, apartments in China share ductwork, so air flows from one room to the next. Probably why it's spreading so fast in China. Yeah, it makes sense. Clown World Order, Jim, why are Susan and her skinny jean wearing shitlib brown shirts, letting you do streams? A virus that infects your pets and travels through pipes is just a flu, bro. You're a weatherman, relax. Well, my forecast is stormy clouds on the horizon. From Glow in the Dark, hospitals China built already leak like a faucet. From KTTK, the cure to Wuhan is inside Ralph's Gunt. From Chug, what map are you using here? This is actually just, it's inverted colors, but it's BNOs. So you'll see, like, I know Lookner does streams every day following this stuff, and BNO follows this as well, and they both pull up statistics. They pull the same information up from the Chinese website. So you can get the province website for Hubei, puts up their numbers, and then you can get the national numbers from just another site. And then BNO takes all of that, and they plug it into their little map. I think it's BNO Desk on Twitter. Will link you to their map. You can take a look at it. In fact, you know what? I'll just fuck it. I'll pull it up right now, and you can take a look at what it looks like at the moment. Where are we here? Sorry, hold on one sec. All right, I think it should be. I'll show you the map and some of the numbers so you get an idea. Okay, so here's our map, 71,247 confirmed cases, 1,770 dead. And then if you go all the way down, it'll pull up a map that just, hopefully that's on screen, yeah. A little more, there we go. That'll show you specifically, it tells you too what the key is of colors and everything else. So you can see this is Hubei and Wuhan's in here. And that's the hardest hit area. Got clusters that are all over the place. And then here's Japan. Can you tell where the fucking ship is docked? Can you tell where it is? Yeah. So that's what Asia looks like right now. Just kind of spreading down, going towards here. Here's Europe with the Chinese tourist that died in France. And then here's America with its newest confirmed case in Houston. But you can find that through BNO's Twitter, links to their site. And we'll show you all the statistics you need for what's going on out there. From Farron, the Flumer virus don't scare us Zoomers. From no or non-Servum R, have you heard anything about men being sterile after being infected? We looked at it. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read the actual article that was posted up on Med or whatever it was. So I don't know. That one I just saw the last day or so. From Drew Durant, thank you, good sir. From Ninja Work 111, Wilhelm Eric space Martin Urban Sigurd Tor space Kelly Ivor Ludwig space Adam Ludwig space Nicholas Ivor Gustav Eric Rudolph Sigurd. I guess those are all your friends you want to thank? Is that what we're going for? Okay, well, I think all your friends are very happy that you shouted them out in your super chat, Ninja Warwick 111. From Mark Salmon Fink, coronavirus only targets ACE2 receptors. Most white black people don't have any. Also by, what is this, SNSS? We going to the moon now. From Thygo Santos, N95 respirators can't help you against this virus. What can? Is there any hope in case of a pandemic? You're going to have to go higher then, like N99s or P100s. From a name I cannot pronounce because I can't read it. Hey, Jim, unpronounceable name again. My mild cough is much better now. Visited my shamanic witch, and it turns out I caught the damn river plague. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. From Nio, all aboard the Koof ship, indefinite vacation Koof. From the Red Pill Nation, yawn, getting sleepy, it's just a flu. Press S to sleep. From unpronounceable name, 2 more, actually. My witch doctor offered a recipe of eggs, vinegar, whipped cream, a little wheat germ, and peanut. Didn't have any peanut, but hazelnut worked fine. Anyway, I'm staying away from the koofers and poop lovers just in case. Staying pretty comfy, playing some video. Hope you stay safe. Love you, Jim. Well, I'm glad you're recovering. Just stay away from crowds gathering. Wait for the pandemic to sweep over them. And then go loot all the shit of the dead people. And live like royalty. From Sergei Veselov, mass panic in major cities would kill far more people. Militant draconian groups similar to the Cleaners or even the Last Man Battalion. Fanatical pyromaniacs or warlords like the Division game. The Red Pill Nation, remember the 6 million Chinese. From Odeker, have you heard of the Grant Amato? Guy was obsessed with a Bulgarian cam girl who stole his parents' and brother's life savings. 250,000, damn. And spent it all on cam coins. He murdered them when they cut him off. The ultimate coomer. Actually, I think I have heard of this. Is it Jim Does Psychology or Jim Can't Swim? I don't know what he changed it to. But the channel that goes over cases and talks about the interrogations, I think he was covered on that one. I believe he was. I might be wrong. From Eric Elliott, N95 won't help. Buy gas masks, but gas masks will. CBRN filters. Q1 Fiend. The Crows thought it was Corvid-19, not COVID-19. From Oipat Stiven, Jimmy. You should pre-order this China #1 bestseller game that's coming Friday to Steam, Corona Simulator. From Hitch Watson. Locust swarms in Africa. 2 large storms form into the largest to hit the Atlantic in our lifetime. A plague in China. You think God's a little mad? Potentially a little perturbed, maybe. A little upset. I wonder what pissed him off so much. From Colton Long, oops, all coronavirus, Chinese flu cases. From Sam C, hey Jim, you see the vid of Bernie cucking out to a vegan on stage? Made my day a little better. Yeah, I just talked about it a little bit ago. Just like the last time, except it was like a skinny white vegan chick this time. That tried running and grabbing the mic and he wasn't having it. Skeptical Panda, how do you say Captain Trips in Mandarin? Not actually sure. From Cookies Carl Clownshoe Emporium, let's hope Corona Chan goes to Israel and gives them some of the Kung Flu. Death to long-nosed tribes. From Not Tazich, someone somewhere made a population-controlled disease and targeted actual overpopulation instead of telling Euros to stop having kids. Magical. From YouTube bot account, it's just the sniffles, bro. From non-Euclidean llama, hey Jim, when are you going to review manga? Also, You're That Guy with the Glasses series is on Billy Chinese YouTube. I didn't know they had a Chinese YouTube. I guess that makes sense. And I'll review manga once the apocalypse gets in full. When I'm in the bunker full time and have nothing else to do, expect a lot of manga reviews. Django is bored. I got a package from Hong Kong. I think I'm dead. Nice knowing you. From Terry Hestigals, I can sympathize with the researcher who got bat piss in his mouth. I personally got AIDS when Maxine Waters pissed in mine. Well, that's tragic. I hope you survived it. I hope you've come out the other side of it. Did you get plenty of Alluvia and Caltrex or whatever it is to treat that? From Nurax, I can't wait for Ebolarana from Red Cell 96. So I just probably infected my entire neighborhood about 2 weeks ago. Earlier in January, there was an elderly, kindly, sickly Chinese woman on a plane. I don't get sick from flu. Everyone else, though. Oh, so you're a carrier. You're a fucking Typhoid Mary out there giving the gift to the world. From Andrew Thorston, judging by how they build hospitals, it stands to reason they couldn't build a level 4 bioweapons lab. That's a very good observation, yes. Judging by how Chinese construction is shit tier, it's not a wonder their biolab isn't the most secure. I love the videos when they go up to like a big ass Chinese building and they're trying to do patchwork repairs, and you see a guy like take a stick and poke through the cement because it's fucking sand inside instead of mortar. That's always good. From Oipot Stiven, by the way, Jim, have you heard about Yogi Okidoki? Just an anime where pedos train kids to how to yoga. I've not heard of that, no. From Tenbon, Jim, we got a coom before Corona gets us. Legato Madi, the virus was created not to be a bioweapon, but a vehicle to push a lot of anti-bat propaganda. Sergei Veselov, Jim, in case it isn't covered, cured patients are not, I repeat, not actually cured. They're still carriers for 5 days. Also, they can be reinfected. Well, that's just great. From Legato Madi, New Zealand drunk uncle PSA is a video where a guy gets drunk at a barbecue and throws a kid through a lamp into a wall. That is fucking great. Matt Fields, thank you for doing these streams. God's work, Jim. From Mr. Arabarus, never thought I would ever need to worry about catching the actual AIDS flu. Yes, they've made airborne AIDS flu. Wonderfully done, China. From Eric Elliott, China closed due to AIDS. From Vokan Dodinuk, make China pay reparations to the rest of the world for economic damage. This will do. Amazing 1985. Press F to pay respects to Winnie the Nurgle the mongrel, Jesus, the moral pejorative. That would have been a very different username otherwise. The moral pejorative. Busta Rhymes warned us in the early 2000s, Wuhan, I got you all in check. We should be listening to fast, rapping, nappy-headed black dudes more. From Hyperlawn 9997, Kaletra was found to work against SARS, but the Gilead drug is for Ebola. I heard it was for Ebola in, is it Marburg? Is that the other one I'm thinking of? But they used it on a patient. Like I said, there's one case in Washington and 500 tests, or a test batch sent to China, so I don't know. From Glow in the Dark, if coronavirus gets out of hand, HIV patients may have medicine, but if people get desperate, they are now targets because they're HIV medicine. Don't we offload a lot of our medical production, like our actual pills, to China? What is it, like 30% of our medicine is made over there? So probably not the best situation to be in. From Crappy Post, greetings from Italy. No problems here. Good luck. PRC. From Good Friday, Godspeed that Indian hero. From Donut Guard, this is just getting started. No genetic immunity. RO greater than 5 at minimum. Reinfection, a death sentence. Can we get some Tool the Pot? From Awoo Patrol, I bought stocks in Gilead at 2, sold at 4, now we're 67 on Suicide Watch. Well, if it becomes one of those drugs that actually does shit and everybody wants it, it's going to skyrocket, isn't it? From Titan Ravenscar, so this really is going to happen? China's going to kill 1/4 of the world, and then what? We buy more iPhones? Exactly. From Crabtastic, hope everyone is stocked up on food and fever-lowering medicines. Stay in your bunker, Jim. From Black Cube Mystery, Corona patient, shipping container, trash compactor. From A2P, Bill Burr's cruise ship pop, control became reality. Drew Durant, what is wrong with our species? From DM, Ayo Jim, 6 people have tested positive in Wilmington, North Carolina. Wish me luck, I work in that city. Well, did they really? Hold on. That would be news to me. 1 second here. Let's go take a look. Do you mean they tested positive or they're suspected of having it? I'm not Maybe it was earlier on. I don't know. Well, I'll still wish you. Wait, Wilmington. Is this a video game reference here? From B, Jim, what's next? WuFlu meets Candidus auris. Oh, I get it. That's cute. Is it gonna mesh with the fungus and come after us? Oh boy. From Chris Antaki, Resident Evil, Diamond Princess. There you go. From 4chan for Prez, bye 20% of the world. I don't know what the kill rate on the world would be, but I guess once the medical system is stressed, a lot of people are going to die from a lot of shit and from this, so it's probably not going to be pleasant. From Dash, the end is nigh. From Wuhanism, Amazes hasn't hit South America yet, dreading every day some Chinese worker gives sniffles to some Venezuelan, and it all goes to hell from there. I don't know. There's something magical about South America. It's protected. From Chris Nemo, Kufarant tried to guilt me into hugging her today. I told her to get in the pod. Exactly. That's exactly what you tell them. Get in the fucking pod. Crossface your waifu. How do I send you fan art? Also, tell Ted I'm sorry. You could always send it to my good friend Mr. Anti-Bully on Twitter. I'm sure I'd see it if you sent it there. From Garu, check out Dr. John Campbell. He's been tracking this on his YouTube channel. He's worried the virus may ramp up to infect 60% of the global population. From Bane Trump, hi Jim. Any confirmations on Asians having 5 times the receptors the WuFlu attaches to? Yeah, that's the thing everybody's talking about right now, but I don't know. I don't at the moment really know if that's true or not, or if it's smokers or smog or what it is. From Rural, remember Jim, it's just a cold. From Sleepy Keys, would you rather survive by living with shit rat or die but infect Sargon? Oh, well that's a hell of a choice, isn't it? I mean, I'm kind of stuck with shit rat if I live, aren't I? Could I live with shit rat and then just infect him for fun? Is that an option in your could you theoretical? Played in the background. We need the Arbiter to come and glass China to prevent the flood outbreak. Where's the Master Chief when you need him? From Road Warrior 2, did you hear about the chink chick that raped her boyfriend on CCTV during the quarantine? There's a video out there. You're telling me some girl raped a dude on CCTV during quarantine? No, I've not heard of that. I'm sorry. Farmaster Flex, WuFlu is turning the friggin' bats gay. Rude dude. Google Dr. Charles Lieber, Harvard, big if true. From Onitsuki YouTube, I live right between a pub that was isolated and a school where a quarantine driver kept turning up to work. I got a fever and am ill too, and am too ill to work, but I'm sure everything will be fine. Just a coof. From Cozy Glow, oh God, I want Rogue the Bat to piss in my mouth. From Lurik L, in Hawaii in the ER a week ago, overheard nurses talking about what should they do. Someone from Beijing showed all the symptoms, and there's probably more. From Whitepod Stiven, will Corona kill anime? She can't keep getting away with this. From Sigan21 talk about WoW and how corrupted blood incident. Yeah, but that was more intentional. I mean, they were doing that to see how far they could spread it. I don't know if we have any WuFlu sufferers that are really going out there intentionally to try to get people corrupted and spread it from person to person. Nobody of consequence got a P100 mask to troll my wife who's freaking out. They didn't have them in her size, so N95 for her. Told her at least we're not coming back as zombies. From Lemon Lupin Rubin. Maybe the reason they are burning as many bodies as they can is because their zombies are real. From Red Matter, did you hear about how New York NYS is forcing the fire department and such to remove any posts on the topic of the disease after one spoke of an outbreak? See, now you're making me paranoid. No, I haven't. This portion of it I've completely missed. Hello, yes, this is Chief. I'm traveling from New York to Florida next month for a week and a half. How screwed am I? Well, considering you're going from New York, which everybody's saying is infected, to Florida, which probably is infected, pretty screwed. From Rygar Targaryen, just imagine the global spreading power at the Olympics. GG, trying a way to start the apocalypse. I don't know if they're going to be able. Are they even going to go through with the Olympics if this shit's still going on? I have no idea. From Fart Whiff, totalitarian government is trapping people in hospitals. They've been trapping them in coof camps and buildings in their homes. There were reports that people that went to go work in one province and try to go back to another couldn't, and so they're sleeping on the street. I don't know. The lockdowns vary from section to section, so it's really weird. From Matt, blessed be Papa Nurgle's gifts. Mario Kart 13. China burns them all to stop the zombie outbreak. Aureus Ruficoli. Heard you corrected the dead down 130. They rise. Or heard they corrected the dead down. Yes, they did. I'm not sure how you resurrect dead people, but China's found a fucking way. From Malachorv. Have you seen Eugene's tweets to Richard Dawkins about eugenics? It's exactly what you'd think. Oh, I can imagine what it is. Dr. Spaghetti. Down with the Pooh Bear. The government shutdown is keeping me from ordering my ChinaCast Forge World Minis. 100% evidence. Games Workshop made the virus. From Captain Astacular. A San Diego hospital accidentally mislabeled a positive coronavirus case and let the person go back into the public. Well, just brilliant. From Geek. A few days before the outbreak, the Chinese were set to rewrite the Bible to be more in line with communist ideology. Yes, I am familiar with that. I think that was around the very late December that happened. December 20th, December 25th, they were talking about it, and then they got hit by all this shit. From Sean Turner, whatever happened to that art contest? Forgot? I'm not sure. We did about, I'd say, 6 or 7 art contests on StreamMe, and maybe 1 or 2 of them on DLive. I don't know if we did any on YouTube, though. From Matthew Harder, Jim, I got a cousin who's a computer nerd. Her company sent 2 of their Chinese workers to work at home 2 weeks ago. No joke, rip North Carolina. From DNA's Ghost House, Jim, I know you like spoopy stuff. Have you heard of a YouTube channel called Huff Paranormal? Guy claims to have a machine that talks to ghosts. I do love spoopy shit. I don't know if I've seen that, but I will check it out after the stream. From Freighter J, went to an Asian massage parlor last week and now I have a cold. I suspect the ending is anything but happy. Pray for me. I hope it was worth it, bro. Glow in the Dark told you, Jim, that they would go back to traditional Chinese medicine. People keep forgetting the RNA mutates fast. Can't wait to see the traditional African medicine. I'm sure it's going to be great. From John Smith, hey, Jim. Can't catch the stream, but take my dosh. Rip San Antonio. Thought we'd have some more time, but we're getting a front row seat to this mess. From David Henry Posados. I wonder if Bloomberg will win the presidency. Will he bring in hordes of Chinese into the U.S.? Oh, I'm sure everybody will. It'll be the hot new thing. It'll be in vogue next year. From Jormelli. In the future, we will have documentaries about how the Chinese couldn't burn the bodies this fast next to ones about magical Nazi ovens. The ultimate Chinese cookie question. Is that what the video is going to be called? From Judas Rude. Escape the Tarkov has trained me for this. Can't wait to loot and sell light bulbs and peas for rubles. Stay cheeky breaky, Jim. I will do that. Glow in the dark. Hold on, chat. I've lost my spot. Sorry, chat. Give me a moment. Oh no, Jade got out of her cage. Come back, Jade. I've got bat soup. I'm going to need a smoke break. Is that an up arrow? I don't even know how you got that as a username. Have you seen the video of the Chinese people spitting on each other and on elevator buttons? Yes, I have. Mr. Curie, hi, I smell like potato dumps. From Adam Wolford, hey Jim, the Division game where the flu spread across the world, it was a bioweapon that was released on Black Friday. Was that the one where they infected the money, or am I thinking of another one? There was one where the currency was like the prime medium that they spread it everywhere. From Gyro Zappelli, hey Jimbo, check out the DoD video about the WuFlu back from when it was still around 50 million in quarantine. Search Department of Defense internal discussion on severity of coronavirus. From Apache Chief, vote CoronaChan in 2020. From 4Chanimal, have you watched Interspecies Reviewers? I know you're big on race mixing. I'll have to check it out, I guess. From Abstract Post, fire tornadoes, floods, plagues, locust swarms, and now meteor is coming towards us. 2020 sure is something. It most definitely is. From Dovin Death, me Chinese, me tell truth, me no sick, coof, coof, coof. From the one and only Zeno, even if the whole world is doomed, Switzerland will be okay. Every home is legally required to have a fallout shelter, I believe. See, I wish we had planned that in advance. Mark Skog, Ricky G said, you will be dead soon before Kung Flu. Just saying. From Cloakstorm, I wonder if WuFlu affects basketball Americans like me. If not, Kangs will take over the world after the fall of humanity. From T. Greg Doucette, have you heard, or what is this? Have you seen the Window of Life stream? A camera and speaker pointed in an alley where folks smoke crack. People can donate messages or media for the crackheads to hear. That sounds amazing. What is that called? The window of life stream? I've never heard of that. From Matt Aquino. I bought an Israel gas mask from a military surplus store a while back. I told my boss I'd be wearing it every day to work for a second in case I got the second I get a case in my state. Those shitty Sheckelsteins make good masks. Yeah, everybody's got their personal preference, I guess. Everybody's running out there to do it. From Kodak Master, respect for Dr. Li Fang, Chen, and all the CCP whistleblowers. Reminder to go get your supply for shit hits the fan now. Avoid panic. Don't rely on others to save you. Reminder that communism is a very definition of failure. Thanks, Jim. It might not hurt to stock up on some things now. Definitely, if there's 1,000 hidden cases in America, would be something. From Bad Nut, what did I miss? I'm drunk. Nothing. You missed nothing. It's just a cold, bro. Go get some sleep. From Tism Train, Jim, when will God have mercy and hit me with a lightning bolt? Not happening. You're going to have to watch this with the rest of us. From Mr. Melange, Corona Chan must have gotten to Susan. It's the only explanation for why she's not returning your messages. The Glowies heard the Bug Chaser's prayers and decided to yeet the whole bunch with Corona Chan. From Chingy Benji, Ching Chong on my bong, China #1 to be gone. From Angry Emu, good luck Corona Chan, unleash the Kung Flu on the Dindu. From Amber Lines, we're living in the Left 4 Dead games where the government claims it's just the green flu, and the best way to prevent it is by washing your hands. They actually did in the comic, I think, say that. From Ryger Tigerian, just imagine the global spreading power at the... Oh, okay. I think I'm caught up now. Oh, no, a few more came in. Let me grab those. From Bromo Von Imperium, what is Jim going to do when he's put in a man cube after Corona Chan gives him a kiss? They're called Kufid coffins, or a tox box is another name I've heard for them. The Corona Cube is another one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Probably get electrocuted like the other people did. From Adam Wooford, yes, also called Dollar Flu. Glow in the dark. Heard reports China burning money to stop coronavirus spread. So it is like the game. From Liz Reptile, don't know if you'll get this one. Gotta check my Twitter. Made Corona Chan going after sad otaku nads. Account is Liz Reptile. From Mist Monster, the globalists hate Trump's economy so much they're making the bats gay to infect everyone. From Colton Long, I chose a good time to take up blacksmithing. You're gonna want a hobby for what's coming, something you can dedicate yourself to keep your mind off shit. From Anatis TIO2, I'm a PhD candidate working in a level 2 bio lab where everyone is Chinese, and teach a level 2 microbiology lab where 50% is Chinese. What are my odds? I think the first question you need to ask yourself is how many bats are around you, and have any of your coworkers or students, have any of them had their mouth pissed on or in by a bat? Because apparently that's what's happened. Somebody got urinated on by a bat, and now we're all going to die. From Malcorv V, have you seen Eugene's tweets? Oh, no, we read that one. All right, so I think we're caught up. Almost. Bubblegum Gun, according to Jews, race mixing is a cure. And from Mark Cole, I called it on the New Year's stream, they really are rotting 20s. Death to normies too stupid to pay attention to this nightmare. Well, you get what you deserve, don't you? Well, chat, I wish you all the best of luck. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know how much more it's going to spread. But I'm telling you, those Chinese numbers are bullshit. There's no way in hell they're accurate. I think they're massively underreporting infections. I think they're shuffling around infections as other diseases. And for sure, that death count is bullshit. But we'll see. It'll become very fucking apparent, especially starting with Singapore and Japan, and then working its way through Europe and America. I don't know about Africa. It's only one case in South America. Good. You guys lucked out. Australia, maybe you're going to survive because half your continent's on fire, so there's not really anything to infect. But the rest of us are good and fucked. So be sure to prepare. Go and buy a bunker like I did, or dig your own. Titanium walls, that's the way to go. I think that's the most logical way to go, because the zombies hate titanium. That's what I've heard. And we all know they're going to turn into zombies, so you'd better be prepared for it. I know a lot of people had different suggestions for an ending song here, but I think, what am I going to go with? I know what I'm going to go with. Because technically this still is a mystery. We don't know exactly where this disease came from. We don't know exactly whose mouth got pissed in by a bat. What fucking virology worker at the lab fucked us all. I mean, these are some mysteries that are out there. We need to find the answers to.
We gotta find